In an effort to appease progressives and finally put 2016 to rest and in the past, and to unite the Democratic Party, everybody that has voted Democratic, officials within the Democratic National Committee on Wednesday voted to change the process of how superdelegates are used when deciding who the Democratic nominee will be. The Rules and Bylaws Committee voted to prevent superdelegates from voting on the first ballot during the party's presidential nominating convention, unless the candidate has already earned enough pledged delegate votes from state primaries and caucuses to win the nomination. DNC Chairman Tom Perez, he said on a call to CNN, we have to make sure that we work to rebuild the trust among many who feel frankly alienated from our party. No automatic delegate will cast a first ballot vote unless the nomination has already been decided. So this is something that has been talked about for several months. I mean, well, actually going back to right after the convention, or actually, you know, before the convention, it was being discussed, you know, the role of superdelegates, how the process was going to change. A lot of people were talking about eliminating it entirely, or at least reducing the overall number of superdelegates.
But of course, they didn't want to do that until after
the
end of the primary.
Yeah,
because they figured that the person who was benefiting from them, from benefiting from superdelegates at the time was
Clinton.
Yeah.
But like I said, like the what was it, the Democratic Unity Reform Committee,
like with
like I said,
with what's his name, Keith Ellison.
But when they were talking, when they were meeting at one point, I believe they met in Las Vegas. But in these conversations, they were talking about reducing the number of superdelegates or eliminating them entirely. And what I see here is that they're no longer talking about reducing or eliminating the number of superdelegates. All they're talking about is not letting the superdelegates vote on the first ballot.
Now, let me ask you a question, Will. Like, because it said unless what?
Unless
they've already earned the amount of delegates, which automatically gives them the Democratic nomination.
No doubt, right.
But does that usually happen on the first ballot?
Well, see, okay, so customarily, what has been done is that superdelegates have been able to vote on the first ballot. You know, so you count all those in, and somebody will get to that magical number. But without the superdelegates, like we had if you don't count the superdelegates in 2016, neither Hillary Clinton nor Bernie Sanders would have had the magical number to attain the nomination.
What, like 2205?
It's like 22 something. He had like
1800 and something.
Yeah. So again, she would have needed about 100 more, something like that, and she didn't have them.
But she had like 640 of the delegates, of the super delegates, and then Bernie had like 40 something.
She had like 600 more or something like that.
Yeah.
So okay, so when I first saw the story, I immediately talked to my man right here.
Right.
And I'm saying, okay, help me out with this, because I'm not seeing something, because this is being described as something that would be a welcome sight for progressives and people that actually want to reform the whole process to make it fair. And I'm looking and I'm saying, I don't see much of anything here. I don't see a damn
because
thing.
Again, if they were actually honest about kind of reforming this process, you would completely eliminate superdelegates. Because even if it's after the first ballot, you are still allowing superdelegates to have an impact.
That's right.
On the primaries. You're just trying to like appease progressives in the most minimal way.
Right.
I mean, because during the 2016 election, the media outlets that covered the primaries, which were virtually 100% of them, every graph the media used to show the earned delegates, what did it include?
It included superdelegates. Now they noted
that, but it was
superdelegates,
but it was still included. And,
it was still included, and it made it seem like Clinton had a bigger advantage than she did.
And there was a Washington Post article I read that emphatically stated that these superdelegates don't have an impact on voter perception, nor do they have a big impact on the primaries. And I'm like, does the Washington Post realize they're actually making a point to get rid of the superdelegates?
Exactly.
Because if they don't have a real impact on voter perception or the primaries in general, then why even have them?
This was all about rigging the process, because even if we don't even address like electoral issues, like with machines or like closing down precincts and stuff like that, the long lines, the changing of registration, we don't even have to deal with any of that. Just talking about the superdelegates, that was a rigging of the process, because it was reported every single time the numbers were reported on. So that is rigging the process, because you are influencing potential voters' minds. And it's making it seem like there is only one option. She is going to win. So there's been some backlash from the actual superdelegates. So superdelegates are these party.
You don't say.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's been some backlash, man. So superdelegates are these party insiders, these elected officials, former presidents, and they all get a vote, right? So there's been some backlash among some of them, and they don't like this process. They feel slighted. One of them, who is a former DNC chairman, Don Fowler, he said, quote, "We're creating a circumstance where automatic delegates will be second-class delegates."
Oh, poor delegates. But they think their voice should matter over the people's voice.
Yes.
They sound entitled.
Yeah, they do sound entitled.
Like, one thing should be clear is we're not trying to, like, relitigate the 2016 primaries.
Nah,
But, like, right now, obviously, it's clear that the DNC currently recognizes that the process is unfair. Like, they currently recognize that.
Okay.
So otherwise, they wouldn't be trying to appease progressives by kind of changing the process. You know what I'm saying?
So they want to do something to appease progressives, but why not do the thing that people actually been calling for?
Yeah, because like even attempting to move the needle just a little bit kind of gives credence to the dissatisfaction people were expressing. If they're even trying to move the needle a little bit, they're saying, okay, we admit we're wrong, but we still want to do the same thing. So we're going to move kind of like halfway, but not really reduce the influence of superdelegates. We're just going to do something that's really not going to have that much of an impact. It's kind of like it's for show. Yeah,
because these superdelegates will still have their impact, but they will have it in the second round of voting. I mean, so if this process was implemented in 2016, then Bernie has 1,800, Hillary has 2,200. Nobody has the right amount of votes, or that magical number to attain the nomination in the first round of votes, right? Okay, so it gets to the second round of voting. Superdelegates get into position to activate themselves. They can have a decision. They can be involved in the process. Who do they vote for? They vote for Hillary Clinton. She comes away with the nomination. What did you change?
You didn't change anything. I mean, think about this. Like, what if Bernie Sanders had more earned delegates, right?
Yeah, coming into
the convention.
Okay,
where do you think those superdelegates would go? Those superdelegates would have stayed.
Yes,
because they were already added in.
Yeah,
so it wouldn't matter that he had more earned delegates
because they said all along that they were voting for Hillary Clinton. Doesn't matter how their state voted. Doesn't matter. They were going to back Hillary Clinton.
Didn't matter what Bernie's chances were against Donald Trump.
No, it did not. Fowler also, he said that it's voter disenfranchisement.
Oh, dog.
Boy.
You hurt my entire chest just now. Yeah.
Yo, that is some entitled bullshit right there, man.
Voter disenfranchisement,
man. Ain't that something?
They can still vote as damn citizens. What are you talking about?
Yo,
they can still vote as citizens.
It's crazy, man.